Hello, and welcome to the Classic Land Cruisers podcast. I'm Dan, your host. You can find me on Instagram at FJ40_UMA_Smurf or on I Hate Mud at Mountain Biker. You can find the podcast on Instagram by searching Classic Land Cruisers. Remember to go to reefmonkey.com to get your Classic Land Cruiser podcast merch. Bring your adventure home with inlowgear.com, your source for custom Land Cruiser apparel and merchandise, where adventure becomes art, designed for the road. This episode was brought to you in part by Redline Land Cruisers, save your F, by Manafree, your one-stop shop for Land Cruiser parts and service, by Valley Hybrids and Terrain Tamer North America.
Okay. Welcome to this episode of the Classic Land Cruisers podcast. Even though it's a regular weekly episode, I still feel like it's a special episode. And if you guys are listening and you're getting kind of tired of me going on about SAS or Solid Axle Summit, tough. We've got a couple more weeks of going through like events that are happening at Solid Axle Summit and guests that are coming up. But with me today is it Shanette?
Yes.
And Tim.
Yes.
Shanette and Tim, who are in charge of organizing Cruise Her. And I'm just first going to say this, that I think it's awesome that there is a female drivers only run. I think that's so cool. So how did you guys get into Classic Land Cruisers first off?
I'll let Tim take that one.
Well, as you know, Casey's my brother. We have another younger brother who he's actually coming this year for the first time, and my mom's going to come this year.
Nice.
He has a 200, but we're going to overlook that. But no, we all came home from the hospital in a '69 FJ55. My dad was he retired, didn't retire from the military, but he was in the service. We had an air base here. He met my mom. That he was a Toyota salesman at a Toyota dealership, and decided he wanted to buy an FJ55 for the family truckster. And that's what we grew up in. We went all over the country in it. That was my first high school car, Casey's first high school car. And that's, we've just always had them and always been around them. And Shanette, this is kind of funny, if you don't mind me saying.
No, go ahead.
So her aunt and uncle lived right next door to us, and she was younger than we were, but she used to watch all of this, my brothers and I working on cruisers, driveway, and whatever else showed up to be worked on. So that's how she kind of got into it until we actually got together years later, and she got heavily back into Land Cruisers.
Now, Shanette, you don't have a cruiser, and you steal Tim's cruiser, right?
I do steal Tim's cruiser for Cruise Her. And it's really, it kind of makes me want to cry. My youngest daughter just got a Land Cruiser, and I don't even have one. But she's going to have a 100 series for her first car. And good for her. I'm so proud for her. But I'm like, Mama doesn't even have a cruiser. But mine is waiting for me out there. I'm gonna have one eventually. But yes, he is wonderful enough to let me borrow his truck for the day. And I'm very thrilled that they have given me the platform to do this.
So, whose idea was it to come up with Cruise Her?
It was mine. Yes.
So how did that come about?
We were sitting in the shop one day, and I'm sure there was a cruiser up on the lift, because there always is. But we were just talking about solid axle and different things, and I'm like, I really wish that I had a day that I could drive. because I'm always the passenger princess. So we're sitting in the back seat because his kids were young enough that we would have to swap seats and do all the things. And Tim was like, well, what do you mean? You know, him and Casey were like, tell us what you want. And I was like, I really would just like to have one run that just the ladies could drive, because we never get to do that.
Yeah.
We're all, you know, and at the beginning when I started going, what was that, year 4, year 5?
I think it's year 4.
There were not very many women who actually would come to camp because they think it's a guys' week, you know, that sort of thing. And it's not. It's a family-friendly event, but there's not really anything for the ladies to do. We don't want to always just go into town and go shopping. You know, we like the trails and we like to do that. And so they actually gave me the platform to do that. And Tim was asking me about names, and it just kind of came out of me that it's Cruise Her. We're going to do that. So
Fantastic name, by the way.
Yeah. And this year you have a sponsor. The name escapes me, but who's the sponsor this year?
it's Nomad Cruisers. Zach
Okay.
and Harmony have really, Harmony went with us last year, and we had just such a great time. And when we left camp last year, Zach was like, get with Harmony because I think she wants to do something with you next year. So we have just kind of built a relationship, and I'm so thankful for the things that they want to do and that they believe in what we're doing.
Yeah. And is this the first year that Cruise Hers had a sponsor?
Yes. We are
Nice.
super excited about that. Yeah.
So I have some questions that I came up with, and
Sure.
I'm just kind of looking through them. And so, how was Cruise Her originally received?
I think from year 1, we had so many that signed up. It shocked me. Um,
Yeah.
some of the wives that were there were like, "Are you seriously going to do this?" You know, and we may not all have a ton of driving experience, but we want to try it.
Yeah.
It was very well received. I think we had about 20
Yeah.
ladies the first
Nice.
year that
Yeah.
wanted to do that. And that's saying a lot coming from a camp of 100 cruisers, that there were 20 women there that said, yeah, we want to do this, and we're gonna do it. And it was very well received, and that's why we keep doing it.
So was it something that you like announced? Hey, next year at Solid Axle Summit, we're gonna do a female drivers only run. Because
It
let me get this straight: men can come, they can't
Yes.
drive.
Yes, it is a family friendly. The guys just get to be the passenger princess for the day. They actually get to look around and see the scenery and take the pictures. And you know, I think that's what a lot of fear in these ladies are, that they're going to be by themselves. They are not. And I'll tell you this too: if you need to get in a vehicle with someone else, not besides your partner, that's happened too. Because you know, you don't always agree in the car and things like that. And if you want to have a good experience, we can trade people and do whatever we need to do. But I think the guys had as much fun as we did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what to expect. I figured it would be cool, but we had a ball, had a blast, and it was so nice to be able to sit in the passenger seat for once and not have to be totally focused on the trail the entire time. I looked around and saw things I never saw before, and was taking photos, and it's a whole different experience, and it's really cool.
Yeah, because I know on this year's event thread that there was talk of some of the drivers actually leaving the men back at camp and be like, "Okay, you get to stay back in camp, and I get to have the truck for the day." And
Yes, that would be Maureen McVicker. Yes. John handed over his keys to her, and you know what? She did absolutely amazing in her 60.
Yep.
we didn't have to help her at all, and she was just phenomenal. And that's one thing these ladies don't know about themselves, is that they can do all these things.
Yeah.
I still learn every year new things. I'm a moderate driver, but it's just so much fun. And then when you get to the end, you're like, holy cow, I can't believe I did that. So
Well, it was funny when we got back to camp, and I was digging through the back of my truck for something, and all of a sudden McVicker kind of sidles around the back of my truck, and he said, "Hey, so how's my truck?" I said, "Your truck's great." I said, "She was perfect. We didn't
she
even
did
have to
great.
help her. She knew exactly what to do, and this was a manual, so she did fantastic."
Yep. I think she even led us down the trail last year.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she did. Yeah, it's just so much fun, and seeing the joy on these women's faces that they have. Some are very competent drivers, but there are some that it may be the first time they've ever done anything like that, and it's just a joy to see them. It just makes me so humble that they do it. I love it.
Um, so is there like a vehicle limit on the Cruise Her, or?
There is not. Our deadline is May 15th. If women want to sign up, it is on the first page of Mud, so they can hop on our thread and sign up there. If we have to split into more than one group, I have some great leaders that are with me. Catherine Pruitt is always a good leader. Maggie McDermott always runs with us, and she's a great leader or tail gunner. And so if we have to go more than one group, we are more than willing to split up. I want as many women to experience this as they can.
So right now it's only one day, one run. Is there a possibility of it growing, of the popularity of this Cruise Her growing and to become like a females only event? Or is it going to stay with SAS pretty much?
It will always be Solid Axle Summit based.
Okay.
I won't say that we may not break off and have a weekend that we do something, but I have to get my own cruiser first.
Okay. So Jeanette, what is your dream cruiser? What's the cruiser that is waiting for you to grab it?
My cruiser would be a lot like Tim's because he has an amazing 80. I love driving that thing. It's luxury. I like the luxury of it. It handles beautifully on the trail. It's easy to navigate. I don't have to worry, about a manual or anything like that. I love the manuals, but I just want the ease of it and to be able to enjoy the trail and just to have a good time.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting because a few weeks ago, about 2 months ago, a month and a half, 2 months ago, my son's Avalon broke down, and I've mentioned the Avalon before, but it was never meant to be a permanent solution to my Land Cruiser going down. It was always meant to be a Band-Aid, and then when I got the Land Cruiser running, I was going to sell the Avalon and get back into my Land Cruiser. Well, then my son got his driver's license, and he needed a car to get to school and everything, and so he ended up taking the Avalon, and I got back in my Land Cruiser. And when the Avalon broke down, the fuel pump went bad on it. I was like going through Facebook, and I saw a 80 series. Yeah, it has a branded title, but it was like under $10,000, and it still looked clean. And what had happened is one family owned it, and it got into a fender bender, and the insurance wrote it off. But the guy sold it to his uncle, who was a body guy, and he fixed it up, and it looks great. And I showed it to my son, and he's like, "Yeah, I could get used to driving around an 80 series." I'm like,
Yeah, for sure.
And he's like, and then after high school, I could keep that. I'm like, you're not keeping the 80 series after high school. I'm sorry. The 80 series
Take
is
it.
okay with me. Um,
Yeah.
but we ended up getting him a second gen 4Runner,
Oh,
and
very nice.
I think that 80 series is still for sale, and the guy actually lowered the price on it.
Oh,
Well, we may have to look into that. So
I'll,
thank you for the heads up on that.
I
Keep
will.
checking.
I will try and after our interview, I'll try and find the ad again. If it's still up, I'll send it to you.
That would be great.
Because I was about ready to jump all over it, but I didn't think my wife would allow me to take out a loan for another Land Cruiser. I'm like, ah.
just don't tell Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, don't tell Jimmy.
He's supposed to be thinning his herd out.
Yeah.
So do you guys know what trail you're doing, or is it kind of after?
It you
Is it going to be a
yeah.
surprise, or?
No, we are looking at doing Corkscrew and Hurricane, California down into Animas Forks. It's
Okay.
moderate. It's not super easy. Last year we kind of got screwed. There was a terrible accident on 550. We had planned to do Red Mountain,
Mhm.
and we could not get through on the highways, so we had to last minute pivot, and we only got to do Last Dollar. And this year we are looking at really upping the ante. So
Yeah.
it's going to be good. I mean, we sell, I'll tell you this because I know y'all have talked on the thread a lot about your GPS and different things like that. We sell paper maps at camp. We have the books, we have all the things. I would trust that over what you guys have on your phones, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we're looking at doing. So I'm really excited about it.
It's a fun run.
It is a
It's
fun run.
really pretty. Lots of places. Probably a good half day, depending on how much we stop and just kind of look around. And
Yeah,
it's very laid back. Pack a lunch, bring some snacks, bring the family. It's just a good.
Yeah.
It's a good.
yeah. We'll do a group photo with our banner, and we'll have all the good things. And it's just a laid back good time. And I hope that these ladies will not sell themselves short, and that they will come and join us.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a a buzzword now, for lack of a better term. I'm going to use buzzword. But what I like about Cruise Her is it's about female empowerment and empowering these ladies who, like you said, they normally don't drive, and they're they're the passenger princesses, and but they get a chance to get out there and get behind the wheel and do something that might possibly scare them, but in the end they come out of it unscathed and having a good time.
Yes.
And when I found out about it, I actually told my mom, my wife, my oldest daughter, and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool." Um, and so I think it's excellent that you guys are giving these ladies the opportunity to experience it, because Tim, like you said, sitting in the driver's seat and sitting in the passenger seat are two completely different experiences.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are.
I mean, even just like driving my wife's Highlander around and going on a road trip, she'll be looking out the windows and she'll be like, "Look over there," and I'll look, and she's like, "Look at the road." I'm like, "What do you want me to do? Do you want me to look at where you're looking, or do you want me to look at the road?" And so, it gives people an opportunity to kind of reverse the roles and to see what I just think that this event, this sub event, Cruise Her, is just a fantastic opportunity, and I'm not going to participate in it, but I'm glad you thought of the idea that, hey, women don't just want to go shopping; they want to get out there and get dusty I actually have a friend and his wife, when they were engaged, he has the other vehicle brand. I won't mention it, but
Yeah.
uh, they went out and were playing around off road, and they show up at her parents' house, and his vehicle was all muddy and everything, and her dad was like, "Oh, geez, Sam, you couldn't have washed up your truck before you came here?" And he goes, "That was your daughter who did all of that." So she was driving and going through all the mud puddles, and
Well, I will tell you, in the years leading up to Solid Axle, we've had some things happen on the trails where we've had to pick up people and we've had to do all sorts of things. And I don't remember what trail we were on. Was it Imogene?
Imogene. Yeah.
When we were coming down, and there were a group of side by sides that they were having trouble with their vehicles, and they had kids and all sorts of things, and they were really kind of begging us, take our kids to the bottom so we can get these down and different things. And I had a whole back seat of little girls, and they thought I was driving the truck, and we had such a blast with those kids coming down the trail. And those are the kinds of things that are so special to me. And that wasn't a Cruise Her thing, but that was just, those little girls were like, oh, that was just really neat to see their faces.
Well, the dad had lost his brakes on one of the side-by-sides. It was a 4-seater. So he had the whole family. Mm-hmm. And I think he had to put it into a tree. And so the girls were panicked, and he was like, is there any way I could get you to take them down? And we're like, yeah, sure, hop in. And like Shanette said, they just thought it was really cool that she was actually driving the trail. And we started giving them extra swag I had in the console. And
yeah, we had stickers and all sorts of things that they got out of that truck, and they were Cruiser fans when they got out with us. But it was just a joy, because you don't know, those little girls may grow up and they may get a Land Cruiser. Screw that side by side, I'm on the Land Cruiser. But it was fun, and my youngest daughter got to come for the first time last year and see her mom drive, and that was very humbling.
She's been into the Cruiser ever since. She was little
bitty. I think she sat in every Cruiser that's been in the shop.
Yeah.
We have a picture of her in every Cruiser that's been worked on.
Yeah.
But since she was probably 6 years old,
yeah,
that's just her thing. And she got to come last year, and it was a joy to have her in the car with me. I had a blast with her.
Yeah. She said she will never make another one. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and last year I had to live vicariously through Solid Axle Summit through the posts that I saw online, and I think Ian went along as your photographer last year, and I saw those pictures. I'm like, and I hadn't heard of Cruise Her before. So how many years has Cruise Her been going on?
This will be our 3rd year.
Okay.
So it's still fairly new. I'm not ready to give it up yet. I hope they don't make me give it up.
No,
I hope it doesn't. They don't make it.
I will do it.
Yeah, and to me, it's really refreshing to hear a female's perspective on off-roading, because it is a lot of male drivers and everything else, and so
I will tell you.
Go ahead.
The first year I went to Solid Axle, I had not really done a lot of off-roading. I didn't grow up that way. Very first trail they took me on was Black Bear. And we had such a large group, and we get stuck on this little shelf road right past the steps. And my kids called me, and they're like, "Hey, are you having a good time?" And I just turned my video on, and I'm at 13,000 feet looking right off the edge. And Tim was like, "Are you scared?" And I'm like, "No, this is so freaking amazing." You know, I mean, that was the best way to start out, and on the scariest, roughest thing that everybody always says, that Black Bear is just so scary. It's not. It was beautiful. One of these days, I'm going to run it myself, but I'm not quite there yet.
That's when I knew she. That's when I knew she was going to be okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they threw me right on Black Bear off the bat, and you know what? I've been in love ever since, and I love this event. I love all the people that we meet. I can't wait to meet you and hug your neck. And Dan, I'll tell you, if you want to come on Cruise Her, I will gladly let you come ride with us.
Yeah.
You know, just since my son got his Forerunner, this last weekend, he's like, "Oh, I want to go off-roading. And there's a trail not too far from here, and it's not a very long trail, but it has like all the different aspects of off-roading that you can kind of cut your teeth on. So it has like steps that you have to kind of navigate up. It has off-camber sections. It has short washed out sections. It has a whole bunch of other stuff. And then it has this really steep, loose, rocky section. And the only way to get up it is to put it into four-wheel drive, four low, and give it some gas and just go up it. And so he wanted to drive his Forerunner, and I drove my Land Cruiser. And so we had this little off-roading event. He brought one of his buddies with him, and I'm like, okay, just follow me and try and go up the lines that I pick, because I'm going to try and go up the easier lines. But on this section, you do need to be in four low. And I got up it, parked my truck on top of this peak, and it's not nearly a 13,000 foot peak. It was not very high at all. And I had just enough time to get out and run down the trail a little bit, and here he came climbing right up. And so he now kind of knows how to work the vehicle. So maybe he and my dad go out for a run, and I go with the Cruise Her ladies. But I don't know.
We would love to have you.
Yeah.
We would love to have you. I'd like to hear you talk about it on your podcast again, how much fun you had going.
And Carl just reached out to me today, because I've had Carl on the podcast a couple times. Once to kind of talk about his Land Cruiser, his 40 series, and the other time to kind of do I think it was an SAS 7 recap.
Mm-hmm.
And he reached out to me today. He goes, "When you get back off of SAS, I want to host your podcast and interview you." I'm like, that is going to be really cool, because he'll be able to ask me questions that I haven't thought of. And sometimes it's nice to get that be in the other chair for once, not just the host, but have somebody else.
Feedback.
Cool.
So what has been, I'll ask this question two ways. What's been one of your best off-roading memories, and what's been one of your best Cruise Her memories?
I will say my Cruise Her memory was year one. We did Governor's Basin, and we had talked about just stopping there. You know, it was very moderate. Everybody was having a good time. And then Sydney Basin is just right there. And that little shelf road to go up Sydney Basin, Tim was like, do it, you know? And I'm like, I was so scared. I was really scared. I'm looking at it, And him and Casey are just telling me, you got this, you can do it. Well, we did it, and it was scary as hell. Pardon my mouth. But you know what? Not one lady on that run backed out. We all made it to the top. We all got to get up there. And if you haven't been up in Sydney Basin, it is one of the most beautiful places you have ever seen in your life. It's a 360 panoramic, just amazingness. And taking the pictures with those ladies up there, that's my favorite cruise her memory. Because I know so many of them were probably like me and probably a little nervous about going up there.
Yeah.
And I know like Shelly Ninemacher, she's not scared of anything. She's done Black Bear, and it was probably a breeze to her. But you know what? She came and she had fun with us, and her daughter comes, and that's the joy that I get out of it. We get to just share a day of us, and it's so humbling. It's so humbling that they want to do that.
Yeah, it was fun. We stopped up there. We took probably an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, popped their hatches and opened their coolers, and we
peanut
had
butter sandwiches,
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with Rory Hammer and his wife, and everybody was there. We just had a blast.
Yeah,
so much fun.
Everybody's kids running around, hopping off rocks, and all that. But really, I don't know that I could come up with a favorite event memory. We have things happen every year that are just stunning, and they stick with you. And especially as leaders of the event, we see so many cool things, and just meeting the people is very cool. And I know how hard you guys work to get into the event, and it's so limited. And I wish that we could accommodate everyone. Our wait list right now is as long as the registration, and we won't get hardly any of those in. And I wish we could accommodate everyone, because I want everyone to be able to come and experience the whole thing of it. We have so much fun, and there are different things happening every day, but it's so laid back, and everybody just visits. We sit around the campfires in the evening. And that's probably my favorite, is we run the registration table, and actually getting to talk to the people that come up. We meet their kids and their wives, and, we build relationships. And we've started a kind of a yearbook that people can write in every year. And when camp is over and we go back and read those things, very humbling. It's so humbling.
It is. The people are great, and the people, the number of friends, and not just acquaintances, but good friends that we've met from all over the country is amazing. It's a blessing. I just had a guy, Dennis Diagnos, just came through last week, and he said, "Hey man, I'm on my way to see my son. Do you mind if I crashed at your house?" "Yeah, man, come on."
Yep.
So we went and had a burger and had a beer and got caught up, and
we just have such a
network. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So, Shanette, take me back to year one of Cruise Her, and leading up to Cruise Her, the first one. What were because you would probably announced it, hey, we're going to do a Cruise Her. How did you feel when people actually came through and signed up and wanted to go on that first Cruise Her run?
It was so overwhelming, the response that we got from that. Of course, we have good friends like the McVickers and the Pruitts and different things like that I know their wives are going to drive, because they're always in the passenger seat. They have their own vehicles and they do their own things. And so I know, that they were going to join me, but to see the others that suddenly come out of the woodwork, that you're like, I didn't even know you were here, because they don't come up to the registration table. They don't always come up and visit. And I've made so many new connections. And even Harmony from Nomad, she was just the biggest blast I've ever had. Just you don't know these ladies are there half the time because they don't come out and they think it's a guy's thing, and it's really not. I love seeing more women come every year, and they're bringing their kids, and it's a whole family thing. They got the dog, and it's just the whole thing, and it's just thrilling, and it was overwhelming, but so humbling that I was doing something that other people wanted to do, and
Yeah.
and I've made just so many friends and connections from that, and I love it.
And now it's been going on long enough that you're actually on a podcast talking about the success that you've had in doing Cruise Her.
Yes, I'm so humbled by that too, just so you know.
and, and sorry, ADHD trip real quick. I noticed your shirt is a Cruise Her shirt.
Yes.
I want to buy one of those shirts for my wife or my daughter during the event. We bought Axel and
We don't
bring it
sell
back.
them at camp. We don't sell them at camp. It is actually when you register for the run. This year, we are so blessed with our sponsor that we are going to have some great swag bags just for the ladies,
Nice.
and they're going to get the shirt. They're going to get the stickers. We have some other fun things planned that only they can get. But Dan, I will make sure your wife and your daughter get a shirt.
Oh, well, thank you very much. My daughter would wear probably more than my wife. My wife doesn't like prints, but I just think that it's such a cool event. I'm sorry. I'm kind of fanboying over it because it is such a cool event.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, because when I first got into my cruiser, let's see, it was 2019, I did a relic run, and they gave a sticker, and like the next year, I was like, the guy who organized it, I'm like, hey, I haven't heard anything about the classic cruise this year, and he's like, you know what? I've got so much on my plate. I'm moving. I got a different job at a different Toyota dealership. I sold my 40 and just rattled off these things. And he's like, if you want the classic cruise to happen, that's what we call it in the Copper Stick Cruisers. He's like, I'm more than happy to pass off the reins to you. And I'm like, okay. I organized the first one. I'm like, oh man, I hope people show up. And sure enough, I think the first time I did it, we had 10 or 15 vehicles show up. I'm like, oh man. And I'm like, well, that was fun. So I did it again another year. And I'm like, you know what? I've done it 2 years now. I'll pass the reins on to somebody else. And then almost a year goes by and I hadn't been hearing anything. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm doing it again.
Well, I will tell you, I before the job I have now, I was an event coordinator by trade. But we have the most amazing team of leaders who are cruiser heads. I mean, everybody has their own special thing that they do, but we have the most amazing team. And we could not put on an event like this without every single person that does it. And I'm thankful they let me be a part of it, even though I don't have a cruiser. I kind of butted my way into it, but I hope every one of our team members know how special they are, and we just couldn't do this for 10 years without the team that we have. It's not just one or two people. We have a whole crew that puts on all this stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
And everything we do is for y'all. So I hope y'all enjoy the things that we come up with.
Yeah, I am excited about coming up to Solid Axle. It's actually been on my bucket list for several years now. and I'm still a little bummed that I couldn't do what I had originally planned on doing. But I'm excited that I get to do this instead. Because originally my dad and I were going to go down to Australia for long drive for drought. And there's a guy down there who was going to volunteer his 40 series, his Ute for us to drive in. And I'm just like, that would be so amazing. And I would love to go to Australia and drive around the outback and everything. But just logistics of it was not going to work out.
Well, I'm glad we're your second choice.
And you know what? It wasn't even that hard of a choice to make. When registration opened up, Casey's like, I want you there to record a whole bunch of episodes at Solid Axle as a sponsor. I will open up a spot for you to be a sponsor. I'm like, how much? And he told me, and I'm like, done. And I had like been kind of squirreling away some money for Australia. And then when he said that, I'm like, okay, I just took all that money and signed up for SAS. And so
we are thrilled that you're coming.
Yeah,
We're
super
so
glad you're
thrilled.
coming, man. Can't wait to meet you.
And I'm hoping to get about 3 or 4, maybe more episodes recorded while I'm there. I probably won't be able to have it like this, but I did get like a little digital voice recorder so I can record some episodes that way.
You're going to meet so many great people that will give great interviews up there.
You're going to have a whole year's worth of episodes ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that would be awesome. Because I would rather have too much content than not enough content. So
I think you'll be in good shape.
Yep, you're going to be very good.
Yeah. So I was trying to have my wife and my daughter come up with questions like, what would you like to know about this event? And like, I don't know. And I kind of gone through all of my Cruise Her questions. And so I'm going to go over to my other regular questions and
okay.
Because these ones are kind of fun. And I actually got this question. I'll ask it to both of you. I got this question came up with this question when I was talking to Michael Emery of Slow Baja. But who would you want riding shotgun with you? So, Shanette, you just get an 80 series. It's your own 80 series. Who would you want riding shotgun with you?
Oh, besides Tim or my daughter, someone from camp.
Anyone in the world?
It's your. I had somebody one time who gave me a fictional character. One person said Teddy Roosevelt, and he's like, I'd want to have Teddy Roosevelt sitting shotgun, and I want to go to all the national parks with Teddy Roosevelt. I'm like, that would be an insane trip. That would be so awesome.
That would be cool. I'm going to keep it to camp, and my seatmate is going to be John McVicker. Because once you meet him, you will understand what I mean, but he is just a man of wisdom. His humor is wonderful. I would just love to experience a trail with John McVicker. He's my favorite man. I just absolutely adore him. But yeah, he would be my person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, John actually knew Casey and I's grandfather. They didn't live that far apart out in California. So year one, we figured out that we had a common friend in our grandfather. So John's always kind of been family to us, and so is Maureen. Most of the people there become family to us.
Well, who would be your person?
Whew, man.
Dan.
I would probably, and this is just crazy talk, I would love to run a trail with like Ivan Stewart.
Nice.
And not outside the off-roading world, somebody that I've always respected, and we just lost him, was Robert Duvall. Just to have time with that dude.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
I've met people that met him and knew him, and they said he is who he is, and he's exactly what you see. And they said he's a wonderful man.
Yeah. So going back to Ivan Stewart, my kids are part the high school that they go to. If you're involved in their auto club, for at least 2 years, and you come to all the meetings and you go to the fundraisers and you go to the other events that they have, you can go to SEMA every November. It's
nice.
15 years. And so my oldest daughter, when she was a senior, she's like, guess what, Dad? I'm going to SEMA. I'm like, I've been in the automotive industry your whole life. Literally, your whole life I've been in the automotive industry. And you're not going to go to SEMA before me. So I'm going to SEMA too. And her teacher worked it out so that I actually got a student pass to SEMA. And
Nice.
student passes are free. And I didn't realize that media can get free passes to SEMA also, and podcasters count as media. And I was looking through like the day events, because they have so many big names in the automotive industry there, and they actually had Ivan Stewart signing autographs at a certain time. And so I met Ivan Stewart and got him. They were giving out little decorative license plates, and so he signed a decorative license plate for me. I'm like,
Wow.
Well,
awesome.
when you get to camp, we have celebrities too. Just so you know, because everyone wants to meet Casey Archer.
Yeah.
So he may have an autograph table as well. I don't know, but
Potato launcher.
launcher, yeah.
He's been doing it so long, everybody knows who the
They
dude
just
is.
know who he is, and he's just overwhelmed with people. So
and
be sure and fangirl over him too.
and kind of going back to the Cruise Her part of it, I've had Maggie McDermott on the podcast before, and so I would like to meet her in person.
Yeah.
When we get there.
Wonderful. Yeah, she's wonderful. We've done auction raffle night together. She's just a ball of fun. Her and Bamba, they're always just up for, whatever. She leads trails. Yeah, she's always around camp, so you'll definitely get to meet her too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She knows her stuff.
Yeah, she's
knows
a
her
smart
stuff.
girl for sure. I like having her on the trail with me.
I'm gonna name drop a little bit here. But have you guys had the opportunity or the pleasure to meet Tim and Kelsey? They used to be Dirt Sunrise, but now they're Salty Sunrise.
I don't guess so.
Anyway, Kelsey, I've met them a couple times before, and actually went out. They're from Tucson, and so one time that they were actually in Tucson, we went out and recorded a podcast. We went out off-roading and recorded a podcast, and then came back. And but Kelsey kind of reminds me a lot of Maggie McDermott.
Okay.
So, but yeah, they're a great couple. If you ever get an opportunity to meet them,
Maybe we need to get her.
Yeah, maybe she needs to.
She needs to come to Cruise Her.
They're somewhere in the South Pacific right now. They traded in their Land Cruiser one of their Land Cruisers for a sailboat, and they've just been sailing the seas. So, but
That sounds horrible.
I
We
don't know.
always talk. Well, we always talk about when we hit the Mega Millions that we're just going to rent a barge and we're going to take our cruisers and we're going to go just all over. We're going to go to Patagonia. We're going to do all the things, and we'll load up several people, and we're just going to get our barge and go around the world with our cruisers.
But Tim and Kelsey, they have a 40 series that they named Tonto. And they've had a couple of 80 series, they've had a 100 series, they've had a 200 series. But the other ones, they'll have them for a while and then they'll sell them off and get something different. But for some reason, they never sell off their 40 series. They still have it, and when they get done sailing the seas, they'll come back and they'll get in their little 40 series, and I'll tell them that they need to come up to Solid Axis sometime.
Yeah, bring them.
We'd love to meet them. Love to meet them.
There's something special about the 40 series.
Yeah, and I absolutely love my 40 series, and it's not fast. I mean, I think I went wide open throttle today, and I was doing 60 miles an hour, or just under 60 miles an hour. And it's already hot in Tucson, and so I'm sure in Texas it's already getting hot.
It's getting there.
I think it was today, yeah.
But so they're not fast. They're hot. They're not air conditioning. You can barely hear the stereo. But why do you think we love these old Land Cruisers so much that they become like our personalities?
Yeah.
They do. It's hard to put a finger on it. They say vehicles don't have souls, but some of them do.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the 40 does. I think a lot of the Land Cruisers do. They're just tractors. You can't help but fall in love with them. They do exactly what they were built to do. They do it well. They'll get you there. They'll get you home. You can rely on them. And they're cool as shit looking too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and my favorite is just because so many of these cruisers have been through so many different hands over the years, and hearing the people talk about the stories of their vehicles and where they came from and how they got them, and everybody has a story, and it's just the neatest thing to hear the timeline of these vehicles and how they keep going, and there's no chance that they're going away, and we just keep continuing that legacy, and it's just the most fun to hear the stories and how it's impacted their family and their memories and what their kids are going to remember, and it's just a beautiful thing. I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Well, until my daughter got her 3rd gen 4Runner, but whenever I'd have to take the kids somewhere, they'd be like, "Which car are we taking?" I'm like, "Which car do you want to take?" And almost all the time, or good majority of the time, they're like, "We want to go on the Land Cruiser."
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, let's go on the Land Cruiser.
Yep. Casey would take my girls out at the shop and let them run in granny gear and drive that 40 all around the land. I think they've all done it.
Yeah.
But they would just cruise that thing, and they thought they were big shit, running around in that cruiser. But that's a memory that they still talk about, and they're 15, 16, 17 now, and they still talk about cruising around in the 40, and he would come and take the top off and just fly them down the highway with their hair going crazy, and they just had the grandest time with that.
You'll get to see Casey's 40 this year. I think he's still planning to bring the 40, but that thing will scoot. It's got a very hot motor in it, and he built that motor and installed it in his one car garage in Odessa. I want to say 20, almost 30 years ago,
Man.
and
It's hot.
It's
It's hot.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting. The school that my kids all went to, and now it's just my youngest daughter who goes there. Every year they have a daddy-daughter dance. And again, I'm like, okay, we're going to the daddy-daughter dance. Do you want to go in Mom's Highlander?
Yeah,
Cruiser.
One of the 40, man.
We want to go in the Cruiser. I'm like,
Yeah.
but it's loud and it's gonna blow your hair. It's like, no, we want it. We're going in the Cruiser. It's like, all right. And so
That's how you raise your kid right.
and
I love that.
and so my daughter got her 3rd gen 4Runner. It's not 4-wheel drive, but she doesn't really need 4-wheel drive. But she's just like, I absolutely love this truck. She's made it her whole online personality now, and the way she is with her truck is kind of the way I was with my Land Cruiser when I first got it. And so it's like, yeah, I'm like, okay, I did a good job on.
Well, I will tell you, my daily is a 3rd gen, fourth gen 4Runner. So
Yep. We've had 3rd gens.
Yeah.
In fact, I had 3 of them at my house at one point.
Beautiful.
And, ended up my son drove it for one of them for a couple of years. I sold the other 2 to friends, but he drove it for a couple of years. Did suspension work on it, lifted it, tires, wheels, the whole thing, and drove it. Actually brought it up to SAS 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. They've been coming ever since they were kids, since year 1. But 2 years ago, we were actually at camp when he showed me, somebody posted on Mud, there was a 80 series in Lubbock, which is about an hour and a half from here. He goes, what do you think of this? You think that's a good deal? And I said, yeah, that's a good deal. And so I said, get with him and see how serious he is about selling it. Well, the guy tried to back out about halfway home from Uray that year. And I said, look, tell him you can be there with the money tomorrow. And he went and got it. And so now he's an 80 freak. And what's funny, we went Saturday with my future son-in-law. My daughter's getting married in September. But Sam and I were both driving our LX 450s, and his is still pretty stock. But it was funny. We stopped at the tuxedo rental place, and this lady pulls up, and she goes, hey, are either one of those 80s for sale?
No.
I said, do you know 80s? And she said, yeah, I've been looking. They're really hard to find. And I said, yeah. I said, these aren't for sale. I said, this is my son, and he just got his a couple of years ago. But I told her, I said, get on I Hate Mud. And I said, there's stuff that comes up on there all the time.
Don't tell her that. She's going to get my 80.
Well, she might. Anyway, it's just kind of cool that, sometimes whether you're at the parts store or the convenience store and somebody will go, man, that's a nice 80.
Oh, Tim has a story at least once a week at his local convenience store that somebody's stopping him about his Cruiser.
It's cool, though. It's like you're 40. There's just something special about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
A few months ago, my son and I were going to go off-roading with a coworker, and I stopped to get my Diet Dr. Pepper in the morning, and there was a lady who just happened to be filling up her FJ Cruiser at the same gas station. And it was the same color blue as mine. Her paint had faded a little bit, and normally, like, I don't know what it is about FJ Cruiser people, but they see me in a 40 and they're like, why are you waving to me? I mean, yeah, it's a Toyota, but why are you waving? And I'm like, if
They
it
don't-
wasn't for this, you wouldn't have that. Okay, come on.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
Well,
Look
that's how you know who the real ones are.
It's like, look at the front bezel on your truck and look at the one on this one,
But-
right?
the lady who had that FJ Cruiser, when she came out and was done getting gas, she's like, I have to get a picture of your Land Cruiser because that's so cool because I don't see the older ones anymore. And she was just totally geeking out over my Land Cruiser, and she got a picture of hers and mine together. She pulled up right next to mine, and so she got a picture of both of them. I'm like, I should have gotten out and gotten a picture of both of them together because that would have actually been kind of cool.
Well, I will tell you what we used to do a Texas convoy from where we live in Amarillo up to Ouray, and we would have 15, 20 cruisers traveling together. And you talk about the people on the road who are just they fangirl when you stop at the gas stations and things like that because it's a lot when you all pull in together and it's beautiful. We love it.
Yeah, there was a group we were filling up in Raton one year on the way up, and we pull into this gas station, and there were probably 20 or 30 bikers, Harley people, and they're like, dude, where are y'all going in all these cruisers? What is going on? So they knew what they were looking at, and they were loving it. It was so cool.
We run across the Harley guys every year. They always love the Land Cruisers. But yeah, it's a thrill to see so many on the road. And when you're driving through Ouray during camp, you will see, of course, a lot of Jeeps. We're not going to talk about that. But all the cruisers that are in town and everybody, and they're not even always with our group. You still see other ones that are not part of us. And everybody's so kind. And, you know, we have such a good reputation there. Our event has a good reputation in Ouray. They love it when we come to town. And we do so much for their restaurants and their stores. And they have a great little grocery store. They have great food there. And we go into town a lot. I highly recommend the Gold Belt.
Gold Belt's great.
Gold Belt's great. But they appreciate us being there, and we want to continue that kind of relationship with the town. And we don't want to get a bad reputation. And of course, they will. We've been there long enough. They will come tell us if there are complaints, and I promise you, we will find you at camp if there are complaints, and you'll be gone. But it's a beautiful thing that the people, they know we're coming every year, and it's just so fun when you go in the stores because they're like, oh, y'all are the cruiser people, and
it's kind of cool.
It's fun.
And we do donate a lot of the proceeds to the Ouray Mountain Rescue, and they will typically come down one morning and just kind of give a talk at camp. You know, the do's and don'ts in the mountains, what you need to have to be prepared in case something happens, you get lost. Great bunch of guys. We've gotten to know them pretty well, and we try really hard to support them as best we can.
Because we don't ever want to see them on the trail.
Well, and the thing that they say they appreciate about us, and this is even in private side conversation, is that they said, you guys don't ever leave people behind. You always make sure people get back to safety. Mm-hmm. Even if they're not in your own group, you guys always seem to be there to help. And so that's something that we take a lot of pride in too.
Yep. And they'll come down, they come down on raffle night, and they'll set up a booth down there, and they sell their t-shirts. And we support them so hugely. We usually do a couple of raffle items to go directly to them. We support what they do because they save people. Gosh, last year was a horrible week for them. They had so much. But we just support what they do, and they do it all by volunteer, and we just appreciate them. And we've built a really great relationship with them. And when you're up at camp, if you have time to go down to their station, it's actually a really cool place, and they have a memory wall, and you can buy bricks. We have a solid axle brick up there. their dad passed away a couple of years ago, and we actually have a brick for him up there too. So they're very special to us, and
Yeah,
yeah,
we Casey and I were talking about this. We all were. In all honesty, solid axle wouldn't be a thing really if my dad hadn't have bought that FJ55. Um, and so we thought that would be super cool to honor him and get him a brick.
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, my dad, who's actually coming to the event with me, and I, it's a big thing for me for my dad to come to SAS with me. One, because he's not an off-roader, and even some of the easier trails that I've done, he's just like, I'll walk because I trust my 2 feet more than the four tires. And I'm like, this isn't even all that hard. And he's like, I'll take pictures. But he's coming with me, and he's 77 this year. He's 77 this year. And so I know I don't have very much time with him to do events like this.
Yeah.
But before I was born, he was actually a smoke jumper. Actually,
Wow.
when my oldest brother was born, he was still a smoke jumper, and he was actually out on a training jump and broke both of his legs. And
Oh,
my mom's like, okay, I know that you enjoy doing this, but you have a family now. You
No more.
no more.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
And to kind of, I would almost put the search and rescue guys up there, and
Yeah.
smoke jumpers kind of in the same group.
Oh, he will have a blast visiting with them. They are so friendly, and they will sit
Yeah.
and talk your ear off. He will have a blast with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
kind of get my dad back out into the woods. I mean, they still go camping all the time, or glamping. They have a trailer that they take up into the mountains now and go camping. But I think that would be a fun experience for my dad to kind of relive vicariously.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We are over an hour. I cannot believe it, but we are over an hour.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
Yeah.
Do you
Fun.
guys have any final thoughts for us?
Really, I just hope the ladies will sign up. Like I said, the deadline is May 15th. Don't be scared of it. I promise we have a ton of support up there. Just get to camp. I promise you, once you see it up there, you're going to have a great time. Dan, I cannot wait to meet you. I can't wait to meet your dad.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a great event. I'm thrilled that you let us visit about this. I'm thrilled that you gave me a voice to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I sometimes when I reach out to people, I'm a little worried that they're gonna be like, you don't want to talk to me. I don't have anything really important to say. And so when you're like, "Oh, of course I would love to come on," I'm like, okay, that is awesome. So I'm glad that we were able to get this worked out, and that, and I wish all the best to the Cruise Her ladies, because that's just such an awesome event.
Yeah.
well, as long as we can keep growing the cruiser community, and like I said, this is a family thing. Our kids are seeing this, and they're going to grow up and continue the legacy of it as well. And that's the thing that's so special. So thank you so much for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much.
And I would just say to the guys out there,
Let them do it.
encourage your ladies to do
Let
this.
them do it.
You're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect, and all the guys that went,
They were all standing behind, and they
Yeah.
were all taking pictures of us.
yeah,
We felt like
had a blast.
paparazzi. It was awesome.
So much fun.
It was awesome. But if you and your dad want to run with us, I would love that. You come.
Absolutely.
I would love to have you.
All right. Well, it was good talking to you, and I can't wait to see you in person and find out how your event goes.
Well, we can do another call at camp.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Classic Land Cruisers podcast. As always, remember to go to reefmonkey.com to get your Classic Land Cruiser podcast merch. Bring your adventure home with inlowgear.com, your source for custom Land Cruiser apparel and merchandise, where adventure becomes art, designed for the road. Again, this episode was brought to you in part by Redline Land Cruisers, Save Your F, by Manafree, your one-stop shop for Land Cruiser parts and service, by Valley Hybrids and Terrain Tamer North America. As for me, the mountains are calling and I must go.